I am making a rocket deck profile. I decided I was going to do this because I had just learned that Boral and Dragon's going to be in Ghosts from the Past 2. So I figured why not make an updated rocket deck profile in the meantime while waiting. But I've been playing around with Rocket. The deck is really enjoyable, and this is a pure Rocket version, so it's not Dragon Link in any way. But for now, I play one copy of Rocket Synchron. Rocket Synchron has the effect when summoned, you can bring back a level 5 or higher Dark Dragon in your graveyard. So if you summon this, bring back. This deck would be Explode Rocket, Absor Rocket, any level 5 or higher Dark Dragon from the extra deck. So like Boral Savage or Furious Dragon. You can just bring them back with their effects negated. I think they're destroyed during the end phase. Yep. You cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Dark Monsters, which is fine because everything in this deck is dark. But I just like it because you can summon this with bring back Explode Rocket or Absor Rocket or Absor Router, summon Savage Dragon or Link 2. Then I play one copy of Auto Rocket Dragon. Auto Rocket, I play this deck just as a one-off just because of its effect of if it's targeted by a Link monster, it self-destructs and then sends one spell trap card your opponent controls to the graveyard. And because that... Oh wait, no, that's an on-field effect. Never mind. I was about to say something that'd be wrong, so oh well. Then I play 3 copies of Rocket Tracer. Rocket Tracer has the quick effect of you can target one face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, summon a rocket monster from your deck, but destroy it during the end phase. And when I was using this, when the Rocket Structure deck was first released, I foolishly kept thinking I had to summon defense because most of the other rockets have to summon defense. Then I play 2 copies of Rocket Caliber. Rocket Caliber has the effect of you can special summon it from your hand to a zone a Dark Link monster points to. You can only special summon Rocket Caliber once per turn that way. And then you can tribute it, special summon 1 Dark Dragon or Machine monster from your hand, except for another Rocket Caliber. Because of that effect, I've actually thought about playing 1 or 2 copies of... Oh crap, what was it called? Yeah, Cracking Dragon. It being a level 8 Dark Machine with 3000 attack, 0 defense, has the effect of it's unaffected by your opponent's activated monster effects that have equal or lower original attack, so it can't be negated by a Dragoon, which makes me laugh. But also the effect of when your opponent summons a monster, that monster loses defense attack points equal to its defense points, and your opponent takes damage equal to the attack lost. So I'm honestly considering playing Cracking Dragon at 1's deck because of Rocket Caliber, just to test with it. But for now, I just like Rocket Caliber because it's another level 4 tuner. Then I play 3 copies of Magna Rocket. Magna Rocket has the effect of that when it's targeted by a Link monster, it self-destructs and then sends an opponent's monster to the graveyard. So this is great for if your opponent has something like Dragoon or Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer in play. Although if they have a Phoenix Enforcer in play, they're probably going to destroy itself before you can send it, once you can negate it. And then I play 2 copies of Silver Rocket Dragon. Silver Rocket has the effect of when it's targeted by a Link monster, it self-destructs, looks at your opponent's extra deck, and then sends, or either sends or banishes, I don't remember which one card from your extra deck. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, it just looks at your opponent's extra deck and then banishes 1 card from it. So, something I like to do if I'm going first is I'll summon Silver Rocket, target it with I want to say it was Striker Dragon, because I think Quad Boral only has to target a Link monster. I don't know, I either target it with Quad Boral or Striker Dragon. It'll blow up, look at my opponent's extra deck, and then go, oh look, there's a Dragoon or a Phoenix Enforcer that I don't like. Why don't we go ahead and banish that? And then kill some cards in the deck. Then, because it is a pure Rocket deck, I'd play 3 copies of Absor Router Dragon. Absol has the effect if you control a rocket monster, you can special summon from your hand for free. You only summon it this way once per turn. And then if it is sent to the graveyard, you can search your deck for a rocket monster. One thing I forgot to point out was all the rocket monsters in this deck, other than the tuners, share the effect of if they're destroyed during the end phase. You can special summon one rocket monster from your deck in defense position as long as it has a different name. Then I play one copy of Explode Rocket just because I like the fact that when it's targeted by a Link monster, both players take 2,000 points damage. I would either take this or Rocket Synchron out. Honestly, I might take both out for Kraken Dragon. I honestly haven't decided yet. Moving on to spells, I play one copy of Terraforming, just to search for your field spell in case the obvious of Striker Dragon gets ashed. Then I play two copies of Rapid Trigger. This lets you fusion summon by destroying monsters you control from or in your hand. And then a monster summoned off of Rapid Trigger is unaffected by the effects of the monster summoned in the extra deck. Which makes me laugh. Very much. Then I play two copies of Boot Sector Launch. This just lets you once per turn special summon up to 2 rockets from your hand. Or if your opponent has more monsters than you do, you can summon the surplus from your graveyard. So if you have no monsters, but your opponent has, say, 4 or 5, you can then summon that many monsters from your graveyard, as long as they have different names. 8 are rockets. Then I play 2 copies of Squib Draw. Squib Draw just lets you target a rocket monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, draw 2 cards. Then I play 2 copies of Bayonet Punisher. I love this card, which is why I decided to rebuild Rocket in the first place. But Bayonet Punisher lets you apply effects in order depending on the Boral monsters you have on your field or in your grave. And in the order are, if you have a fusion, banish 1 monster your opponent controls. Synchro, banish 3 random face-down cards from your opponent's extra deck face up. XZs, banish 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls. And Link, banish up to 3 cards from your opponent's graveyard. You can only activate 1 Bayonet Punisher per turn, which is fine because it's a quick play. Then I play 2 copies of Dragon's Mirror. Dragon's Mirror just lets you remove dragons in your graveyard from play to fusion summon a dragon fusion monster. Then I play 2 copies of World Legacy Guard Dragon. There's just a Monster Reborn that also lets you Monster Reborn level 4 lower dragon from your grave. And then lets you move a dragon to an unoccupied zone on your field. I've also thought about taking this out for other cards. I would play World Legacy Succession, but I do not have any. So then I play 3 copies of Quick Launch. This is just a reinforcement army for rockets, which I actually tested a game with this, and I was very surprised because I managed to open 3 of them with Rocket Tracer. So summon Rocket Tracer, activate Quick Launch, chain Quick Launch, chain Quick Launch, chain Rocket Tracer. So destroying one of the Quick Launches. So then you get 5 monsters out and going almost on once. And then you lose to Nibiru. I don't like how often I walk into Nibiru and lose because of it. Then I play 3 copies of Uradora Fate. This is a card I'm testing in the deck that I actually really like. Its effect is you pay 1,000 life points, target 1 face of monster you control. It gains 1,000 attack. The usual target, just for people that don't realize how dumb it is. But it gains 1,000 attack until the end of your opponent's turn, and if it does, apply its effect. Of each time it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can reveal the bottom card of your deck and place it on top or bottom of your deck. If the revealed card was a dragon, dinosaur, sea serpent, or worm, you get to draw 1 card for every 1,000 attack it has. And usually when I attack with my Boral Sword, it's already at least 55. So with that additional 1,000 be at 65. And if I reveal one of those types, which usually be dragon, I would then get to draw 6 cards. And it gets 2 attacks. And you can choose to leave the revealed card at the bottom. So then you can just go attack. Oh, look, it's a dragon. Draw 6. Leave at the bottom. Attack. Oh, look, another dragon. Draw 6. That's why I love Eridora Fate. But that is it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. I play 1 copy of Striker Dragon. Since it's at 1, if this was at higher than 1, then I'd be playing as many as I could. But Striker Dragon, when Link Summon, lets you add Boot Sector Launch from your deck to your hand. And then if it's Link Summon, and then you can target 1 face-up monster you control and 1 rocket in your graveyard, destroy that monster on the field, and if you do, add the other monster from your graveyard to your hand. Like I said, typically though when I'm using this, I'm using it to target a silver rocket so I can cripple my opponent. Then I play 3 copies of Quad Boral Dragon. The best part is this does count as a Boral, so Link for the Bayonet Punisher. But Quad Boral Dragon has the effect of once per turn you discard 1 card, target 1. You discard 1 card and target 1 face-up monster on the field. You cannot special on Link 2 or lower from your extra deck for the rest of the turn. But if you do, you then get to destroy the targeted monster, and if it was a Link monster, you then get to summon rocket monsters from your graveyard equal to that monster's Link rating. Which typically I'll have it target itself, bring back 2 level 4s, a tuner and a non-tuner, and then make a Savage Dragon with 3,500 attack and 2 negates. Then I play 1 copy of Boral Code Dragon. Boral Code has the effect of it cannot be destroyed by card effects while Link monster points to it. So if you have Quad Boral here and then Boral Code there, since the Link monster points to it, it can't be destroyed. But then it also has the effect of, at the start of the damage step, if it was Link summoned using 3 monsters, crap, I forgot where I was. Using 3 monsters as material, and it battles an opponent's monster, you destroys all monsters on the field as possible. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard. Then banish 1 dark monster your opponent controls, Dragoon or Phoenix Enforcer, to then special summon 1 topologic monster from your extra deck. So typically Trisbana or Bomber Dragon, which I play 1 of each. Trisbana has the effect of if a monster is special to a zone it points to, it banishes that monster and all spell and trap cards in play to then burn your opponent for 500 damage to your opponent for each of their cards that are banished by its effect. So your opponent has 4 set cards, you have none. You summon the monster to its zone, it banishes those 4 cards and then burns for 2,000. And then Bomber Dragon, from monster summoned to a zone it points to, it destroys all cards in the main monster zone. And then if it destroys a monster by battle, your opponent then takes damage to the destroyed monster's attack. The destroyed monster's original attack. Then I also play 1 copy of Boral Sword, 1 copy of Boral Guard, and 1 copy of Boral Dragon. Boral Guard has the effect of it can't be destroyed by card effects. And then once per turn, you can send 1 card from your spell and trap zone to the graveyard, special summon from either graveyard to your field. 1 monster that's destroyed and sent there for this turn, but negates effects. Once per turn quick effect, you can target 1 monster on the field, change it to face-up defense position. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect. And then Boral Sword has the effect of if when it battles an opponent's monster, once per turn you can have it steal half of that monster's attack. And then it can't be destroyed in battle. Once per turn you can target 1 face-up attack position monster on the field, change its defense position. If you do, it can make a second attack during the battle phase. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to that card's effect activation. So all 3 of these Link 4 Borals share the effect of When you activate their effect that targets a monster, your opponent cannot respond to it. And then bore load target can't be targeted by card effects. The target is destroyed. Okay, my bad. Bore load cannot be targeted by monster effects. But once per turn, you target one monster on the field, it loses 500 attack. And then if it battles an opponent's monster, you can, before damage calculation, you can take control of that monster and at some point place it in a zone that bore load points to, and then it's sent to the graveyard at the end of your opponent's next turn. So these are more or less the three main Link boss monsters of the deck. The only time I ever go for Boreal Guard is if my opponent's playing something like Golden Castle, because it can't be destroyed. Then I play one copy of Borreload Savage Dragon, just because of it being a very good monster, being able to target one Link monster graveyard once synchro summoned, to then equip it to it. It gains half of that monster's attack points and Boreal counters for each Link it has, and then once per turn you can use one Boreal counter to negate opponent's activated monster effect, spell, or trap card. Then I play one copy of Borreload X-Charge Dragon. X-Charge, I only play in this deck because it's an XYZ for Bayonet Punisher. But it's also a decent 3000 body that you can use, I don't know if it's one or two materials. Let's see. Once per turn, you use one material, target one monster your opponent controls. It was a 600 attack. Then you can bring back a Boreal monster from your graveyard, but its effects are negated. They bring it back from your graveyard, but it's banished during the end phase. Also, you cannot special monsters. You cannot special summon other monsters or attack directly for the rest of the turn. So typically, it's not worth it unless you know you can go for game with it. But overall, it is still a 3000 body for 2 level 4s. Then I play 2 copies of Borreload Furious Dragon. Furious Dragon has the effect of once per turn you target one. You target one monster you control and one card your opponent controls, destroy them. Which, if you summon off of trigger, a rapid trigger, then you can have it target itself and it'll just destroy the opponent's card. Because rapid trigger makes it unaffected by the effects of monsters on the extra deck, including its own. And then you can banish it from your graveyard, target one dark Link monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but it cannot activate its effects this turn. You can only use each effect of Furious Dragon once per turn, which is fine because typically if I'm using its resurrection effect, it would be for something like Boreload or Boreal Sword. But I really like its effect of being able to destroy one card your opponent controls if it was off of Rapid Trigger. And the last card I play in the extra deck is one copy of Five-Headed Dragon, just because this is a dragon deck with Dragon's Mirror, so I figured why not play one of the strongest dragons in the game. This is just a 5000 attack beat stick that can't be destroyed by anything if it's not light or divine. And that's only in battle. But that is it for my Rocket deck. If you have any ideas of what I can do to improve the deck, any ideas the deck selects you make, or decks like to see face each other, feel free to comment those below. Thanks for watching.